Harvey Hooke here. We're going to talk about how to be more interesting in a conversation, because let's face it, some people are boring. But you're not boring, so that's okay. I'm really boring. I want to talk about being interesting in a conversation, and I know you're probably in a position where you're saying, why do I have to be interesting in a conversation? Take responsibility for your own actions, like in all honesty. If you're relying on other people to be interesting, what happens if you meet someone who's not interesting and you really want to schmooze them over? Or if they're a guy you're interested in and you're like sitting there politely, quietly waiting for him to take an action. Like, what if he's just as shy as you? So the reason why you want to be interesting in conversation is just because if you'll open up all these amazing opportunities. Yeah, as simple as that. This video is actually inspired by someone who's actually a little bit shy and who kind of waits for the other person to look after the conversation. And I really wanted to help this person out. And so we devised a really simple way of going about this. And this also was inspired by drama games. And if you know me, I love drama games, or I've been getting more into it now because there's a lot of a correlation between drama games and conversation and dating. The key with this is it's all about the first 10 seconds of conversation. Because if you're speaking to a new guy, especially if you're in a cafe, right? He's probably thinking about, what coffee he's going to get or what he's going to do for the rest of the day. If you want to create conversation, or even if you're seeing someone and they're a little bit shy, you have to go first. Now, I've discussed this thing before in other videos. You can click here, bring. If you want a conversation to be interesting, you probably have to be interesting yourself. Or if you want the conversation to go down a particular path or have a particular feeling, you kind of have to start the conversation with that feeling. So how you would do that in the first 10 seconds is to have a little bit of a rant. What happens when you have a little bit of a rant when you speak to that person, even if it's unnecessary, you give them time to think, especially if there is someone who is shy or you're in a new situation, they're probably going to be a little bit startled. An example might be if someone talks to me, they're like, hey, how are you going? I'm going to immediately respond with a bit of a rant, especially if I haven't met you. So I might say something like, oh, I've been working really hard today and I got my new website up and it's been amazing. I don't know anything about programming, but I built it myself. And then after that, you ask a question. Just a really simple question like, do you know anything about websites? They might say no because their gears of their brain might still be working just a little bit, in which case you keep going. You go first until they start to hook onto the conversation. So this was actually something I learned from quite an old gentleman-y man who has been doing traditional sales for 50 years. And he taught me that getting anyone to talk is just about asking 99 questions. Because if you ask 99 questions, chances are one of those questions is actually going to connect with that person. And so what I suggest is you have a little bit of a rant, then ask a question. If that doesn't work, then you have a little bit of a rant and ask a question. And with your rant, if you personally don't believe that there's anything exciting to talk about, and I know a number of people that do genuinely believe that, especially who are shy, you'll be surprised what other people are interested in. So go into detail. If your day was just going to university and you were quite bored at uni, or if your day was doing your regular work or you're starting a business, so just working on the business, go into those details. Talk about how it's actually quite difficult to get your first customer, or talk about how you broke record profit sales, or talk about how the guy in the cafe burnt your coffee. Those little details are what people care about, and that's what people connect with. They're extremely important. So I really hope that if you're someone who struggles with being interesting in conversation, that these unnecessary details that you think are unnecessary are actually what makes conversation interesting. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. There's a quiz where you can click on my hairy chest, which is the what guy is most attracted to you quiz. And I'm going to be launching a program soon, which is called The Hook Point. If you're interested, you can email me. My email's in the description below. But The Hook Point is about how to talk to guys in real life and set up dates. So outside of Tinder. If you like Tinder and all that kind of stuff, that's okay. But this is going to be something that will revolutionize your life in real life, because I like real life. All right, mwah. See you later. Thank you.